Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Delighted to have Marty Okner on the program. He's a regular contributor on the program in our ongoing series that we're doing about mid-market companies. And Marty is a leader in this area. He's out of New York, but we're delighted to get him on here on The Price of Business here every week. And his website, shmcnglobal.com. And he's also with a great organization, and you can learn more about that at acgnyc.com. Give us the elevator speech for both, and then introduce us to your guest today.
Sure thing. Thanks so much, Kevin. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And SHM Corporate Navigators is my company. What we do is we help companies prepare themselves for sale or capital raise. Mainly middle market companies who are entrepreneur-run or second-generation family-owned businesses. And I'm also chairman of the Association for Corporate Growth, the New York chapter. And we are an association of middle market executives and executives active in investing in middle market companies to help them grow. And really great pleasure to have Congressman Stivers, who's a Republican from Ohio, on the show with us today, who's going to talk a lot about what's happening in Congress right now in support of helping middle market businesses gain access to capital and grow. So welcome to the show today, Steve.
Great to be on. Thanks for having me, Marty. Thanks for having me, Kevin. It's great to be on The Price of Business.
All right, glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your work, if you will, for your constituents.
Well, I've been in Congress. I'm in my third term, but I am from Central Ohio, and my district goes into big parts of Southern Ohio as well. In Congress, I've really focused on fiscal discipline, making sure we have policies that allow the private sector to grow and thrive, and also a strong national defense. My real focus with regard to business is tax policies and regulatory policies that make sense, that let the private sector do its job and make a profit and employ people and help our economy thrive and grow.
Okay, very good. Marty?
So, Congressman Stivers, you've had some direct experience working both as a consultant and as a banker, right, with middle market and small and middle market companies.
I have. I spent 15 years in the private sector, first in the banking world, and then before I came to Congress, I also was a consultant to small and medium-sized companies to help them grow, and I'm proud of that background, and I think that's part of what has made me care so much about middle market companies that are really the heart of our economy in this country, with 200,000 companies that employ over 50 million people in the middle market, but they're kind of like the middle child that's sometimes overlooked when you compare them to the Fortune 500 big guys and then the small companies that dot every small town in this country, even though the middle market really is the heart of our growing economy. And in fact, middle market companies even grew during the recession.
Yeah, one of the few things that actually did. There seems to be kind of a mystique around the enterprise companies, even though they're, so fully disclosed by law. And then there's a romanticism around the small businesses, but really just a lack of understanding about the mid-market, don't you think?
I think that's absolutely the case. And so many of our middle market companies used to be small companies, but then they grew. And now when you look at middle market employment, it employs almost a third of all private sector employees. That's just, it's so important. And, in my district alone, I've got 199 middle market companies that are employing over 65,000 of my constituents. And, it's like that in every district across the country. And when these companies get involved in, the capital markets, many of them through private equity and other forms of capital, they actually are growing 4 times faster than other companies. So it's really important that we allow these middle market companies to know about the opportunities out there and how they can grow. And we need to make sure that they also have the policies and tax policies and regulatory policies that will allow them to grow and thrive as well.
Marty?
So, Congressman Stivers, you actually took this to the next level in Congress and helped launch the Congressional Caucus for the middle market growth, and you currently serve as co-chair for the caucus. So, can you explain a little bit about what a caucus is for some of the listeners on the show who may not necessarily know what that is, and why did you feel the middle market needed this platform in Congress?
So, a caucus is simply a group of congressional members that come together for a cause. And four of us, Republicans and Democrats, a bipartisan group in the House, formed this Middle Market Growth Caucus because we thought it was really important to have a platform to talk about the policies that will allow middle market companies to continue to thrive and grow. And as I said, middle market companies are stuck between the small businesses that everybody romanticizes and the big businesses that everybody aspires to be. But they are the heart of our economy, and they're being ignored with regard to public policy. So this caucus is simply a means to create a forum for discussion about how we can allow middle market companies to thrive and grow in our country because, as I said, they employ over 50 million Americans, and their combined economic activity, when you include all the middle market companies together in America, they're bigger than the economy of Germany. Mm-hmm. So it's a giant swath of our economic output in America, but they've been ignored by policymakers because they're not the biggest guys and they're not the smallest guys that everybody's focused on. So it's really a forum to make sure that we're talking about policies that can allow middle market companies to continue to thrive and grow in this country.
And I notice you have four co-chairs. How many members do you have altogether?
So we are now we have about 20 members, and our goal is to get to all 435 members. The caucus is still relatively new, and it takes usually a little while to get going. But I think by the end of this year, we hope to be over 100, and then by hopefully in the next year we can get a majority of Congress involved. And then my goal is to ultimately get every member of Congress, all 435 members of Congress, to sign up and be a member of the caucus for middle market growth.
Got about a minute left, Marty. I need you to wrap it up for us.
Sure. It's really wonderful, actually. And Congressman, you and I were talking just before the call, and one of the important things to note here for the listeners is that this is a bipartisan caucus. And actually, my local representative, who happens to be a Democrat, Carolyn Maloney, up here in New York, has joined the caucus as well, right?
Absolutely. And as I said, we have about 20 members so far. It is bipartisan, and middle market companies are not a partisan issue. They're such an important part of our economy. We need to make sure that all members, Republican and Democrat, in the House and Senate, understand that middle market companies have been driving our economy, and they're really the road to future economic prosperity in America.
Sounds very good. Thanks to both of you. Marty, your website real quickly.
Sure thing. So my company website is shmcnglobal.com, and if anybody wants to learn more about the Association for Corporate Growth, you can log on to acgnyc.org. And also, it's important to note that a lot of the statistics that we discussed today are published on growtheconomy.org, which actually has a lot of facts and figures about the middle market.
Yeah, and by the way, you can just look up Stivers, Stivers, on Google, and you'll get plenty of information. Thanks, Congressman, for being with us.
Thank you both. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Marty, and great to be on The Price of Business.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. And also the best content here is over there at usdatareview.com. More after this.
Clothes are kind of funny, her hair is kind of